global companies. I request session moderator Mr. Sachin Gaur to please come on the dais. I would like to invite the session experts on the dais. We have with us Mr. Adarsh Sharma, Independent Financial Services Professional, Adarsh Sharma and Company. Ms. Sharda Balaji, Founder, NovoJuris Legal India. I request Ms. Prarthana Gandhi to please come on the dais.
Can you send someone for the laptop? I need to change this. Yeah. So in order not to lose time, and this session is going to be very exciting, I promise you, because we are going to have company pitches. So as has been shared earlier also with you, that we are having this EU delegation of companies, innovative companies, and they're going to pitch. So it's not like a business pitch, as in where you grade them, but we asked our advisors, our experts, we have been taking their coaching in our own business. So we thought that, the words of wisdom that you give us, you could also share with them. So we are going to have around 7 presentations today. And these presentations, these companies, they have some innovative solution. So the idea would be that they would present in 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And we will take questions also from the audience. But, I'll first reach out to you for the comments. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Jonas Ihalainen to make the presentation. Mr. Jonas is presenting Icare, which is a Finnish company making tonometers. So can someone help me with the IT, because I think this is stuck, the video. Sorry, Jonas. Yeah, presentation. Session 9. Yes. Please.
Thank you. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you have still some energy left to listen to what Icare tonometers are and how we can help Indian healthcare. My name is Jonas. I represent Icare Finland. So very simply, this invention was originally made by Finnish MD in 1996, and our first commercial product came out in 2003. Nowadays, this company, Icare Finland, is part of a revenue group, which is a stock-listed company in Helsinki Stock Exchange. So we have over 50,000 devices delivered globally so far, and distribution network in over 85 countries, and it's increasing each year. The technology which Icare tonometers operate is proprietary for Icare Finland, and it's very widely patented. So why Icare? So tonometers are needed to diagnose and find glaucoma. So we estimate that there is around 75 million glaucoma patients around the world, and in India, blindness is a major cause of blindness. So there is estimates that India has over 11 million glaucoma patients. And what is more worrying is that it is estimated that it could be over 90% of the patients who actually do not even know that they have this disease. So high intraocular pressure is the main risk factor for glaucoma, and that's why we need to be able to measure it. So this chart here shows that the normal IOP for average person, it varies between 10 to 21 millimeters per mercury. And but if your IOP gets more than 30 millimeters per mercury, your risk of having a glaucoma is over 40 times. So very important to find this disease on time, because we can only stop the progression. We can never cure glaucoma. So technology-wise, Icare is basically the newest technology in this, or newest innovation in this industry since 2003, as the industry standard is still from 1950s, called the Goldman applanation tonometer, which is not ideal technology, but it's still the standard of measuring. I will show you now one very quick video what kind of tonometers Icare produces, as we have many different models for slightly different applications. Just a second. And it's not working. So we skip to the next page. So the technology itself are portable tonometers. So all Icare tonometers are very portable, so handheld tonometers, which has a very short learning curve as well. So there are studies that you need approximately 10 minutes of learning to be efficient Icare tonometer user. Doesn't need any topical anesthesia or any regular calibration. And it's very patient-friendly technology. Few models listed here. I'm not going to too many details, but just maybe I would mention the last product here is the Icare Home, and we have developed the first patient self-monitoring tonometer. So glaucoma patient can, with this device, measure their eye pressures in their home environment and then consult with the doctor once they have done several measurements over longer periods of time. Few cases where Icare tonometers can be used are, the first one is your standard ophthalmologist. So patient goes to see ophthalmologist who is using Icare devices to measure IOP, and they may be diagnosed as a glaucoma patient. Second case is, which is very widely used in many countries, is in the optical stores. So optical stores in many countries are offering very comprehensive eye checkups, including IOP. So we could say that the optical stores in many countries are acting as a screening point to generate more patients to eye hospitals. So I personally believe that India is heading to this way, as India has a lack of ophthalmologists. Third case is eye surgeries, which are done more and more. Also cataract surgeries can be included here. So there is always a risk of rising IOP after eye surgery. So it is advisable to check your eye pressures post-surgery. Yeah, like I said, Icare tonometers cover a wide range of applications, including human and animals. Animal segment is very increasing and growing segment, as well as lots of new breeds have come out lately, and they are basically pre-diagnosed as a glaucoma. So many dog breeds especially, they will get blind almost certainly. So that concludes my brief presentation of Icare tonometers.
So thank you, Yunus, for being brief.
Thank you.
And I would like to now ask our experts if they have a quick reaction.
It was a very invigorating one. In fact, the fact that you have these handheld structures and sort of more microscopic and very small structures, more particularly the products that you take home, quite clearly forgetting the fact that the patient might tend to diagnose themselves, but at the end of the day, they're very handy, they're very good, and I personally believe time for these are ripe and appropriate for the ophthalmology industry in the country. Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a secret that I should not tell. Adarsh ji also advises a hospital by the name of Icare. It's the same spelling as your company, and you should be talking to him more.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Yeah.
So it's a nice technology, it's quite handy, and thank you for the wonderful presentation. We'll be looking forward if this products can come to India and we can collaborate together. Basically, I'm an investor. We do invest into the healthcare sector. So I'd be happy to join the hands if we can, get along. Thank you.
Very quickly, there should be some tools currently being used in India. Have you mapped that out in terms of what most ophthalmologists use in India?
Yeah, we have been in Indian market for around 6 years, but only the past couple of years we have seen much more faster growth. So the Indian ophthalmologists are adapting to this new technology faster and faster. So like I said, the industry standard is still from 1950s, so it is getting old. So that's the reality, and newer technologies will be replacing, and we, of course, as Icare tonometers, we hope to be leading the change.
And Yunus, one last line before you leave the floor. What are your asks here? What are you looking for in India? Why are you here? Apart from the business, what is Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for investors? Are you looking for doctors?
We, of course, everybody who's interested is welcome to talk with us. We are maybe not so much looking for investors. As I said, the company who owns Icare is a stock-listed company, so they have funds available to support us. But what we're mostly looking are partners, hospitals, maybe some distribution partners in the optical segment, as our current partner covers quite well the ophthalmic hospital segment. But of course, if you are a doctor who needs a tonometer, we are more than happy to introduce our technology and how it works and how it can improve the efficiency of your hospital.
So any audience question, only one question because we're running out of time. So we have Dr. Mukesh Taneja from LV Prasad Eye Institute. So very relevant person to ask the question.
I've used this tonometer and yes, it is very, very useful, mainly in the situations where the conventional, the Goldman applanation will not work, irregular corneas, which I was discussing with him yesterday. My one suggestion would be you should also get a model which could be mounted on a slit lamp. So then only you would really be able to compete with the Goldman because of the ease we have with the applanation tonometer because it fits on the slit lamp. I'm already using the slit lamp. Yeah. So while I'm examining the patient, at the same time I would be able to do this. Just keep that in your mind. If you can develop a model which just sits on the slit lamp.
Oh, sits with the slit lamp, yeah. Interesting proposal.
Thank you, Yunus. I hope you got some good feedback.
I did. I have to say that these meetings we had during this conference has been extremely good and positive. So I've been, let's say, positively surprised.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sachin, and everybody.
So thank you. A round of applause for Yunus. So can I ask Preet Igro to be the next person here? So for our experts' information, we have 2 Finnish companies in the delegation, 3 Estonian, and 4 Swedish. So Preet is coming from Estonia. And Preet, I request you to keep it brief so that we can have more questions. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let me just put this one. Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Preet Igro. I'm the owner of a company SMARTdo. We are the producers of Hillbed vibroacoustic therapy devices. First of all, I would like to thank InnoHEALTH organizers for such an event and Mr. Sachin Gaur for an opportunity to introduce ourselves and our new innovative technology, therapy technology, to Indian market. At the beginning, I would like to ask from audience, what do you think, what is the most common illness worldwide? Sorry? Okay. Yeah. Actually, correct answer is depression. So, as you see, depression is a common mental disorder, affects all ages from kids to adults. It's a leading cause of disability worldwide, and actually it's a contributor to the overall global burden of disease. By WHO statistics, over 300 million people suffer this disease. Probably this number, we believe, is much bigger. So could we call it as a modern ERA disease? As we know that life goes faster, first of all, and the daily life is much more demanding because of the technology, economic growth, or globalization means that people have to be ready for much more. They have to take much more. So, what is the solution? Well, obviously you know the answer already. We offered the solution based on HealBed vibroacoustic therapy devices and know-how. Behind that there is some science and made various researches during times, and the basic ones are presented on the screen this moment. But still, I'm quite sure many of you doesn't know what is vibroacoustic therapy, and that's why I try to explain this one. Simply, vibroacoustic therapy, it's like a cat's purr made for human body. It has a low frequency sounds, pure frequency sounds generated by our device. Pure low frequency sound waves, they're emitted to human body, which stimulates body tissues. Frequency range between 36 to 120 hertz. And with the help of sound, we can reduce stress, relieve the pain, alleviate muscular tensions, lower the blood pressure, and so on. As well, it's possible to cure psychological disorders. And it's also important to know that vibroacoustic therapy is supported with integrated music therapy or functionality. During development of HealBed prototype 2015, in cooperation with Tallinn University Center of Excellence in Health Promotions, and whose representative is here as well, also Health Resort Värska in Estonia, they made a study to measure influence of vibroacoustic treatments on health of visitors of resort. So the study was made by Professor Eha Rüütel from Tallinn University and vibroacoustic expert Monika Laanete, who is in our team now. And well, it's so important to say that we continue the investigations on field as well to make the studies. But okay, that much about theory. I know you're curious to see what we are producing and how it looks like. So please, I'm proud to present to you. Enjoy the video of HealBed. Ta-da! Well, no.
Seems to be that video is not working. It didn't work for Yunus, so it didn't work for you.
Well, what I can tell you, you hear silently the sound of nature behind that, and this is one part of our device technology, how it works.
But I request if you could show the photo of the HealBed.
I will do it. I will do it this immediately. Yeah. So before going to a photo and showing in a real device, what is HealBed? Shortly said, it's a healing bed. It is for anti-pain, anti-stress, deep relaxation, and as well for wellness treatments. It's important to say it is not a medical device. Even technically, it's hospital capable. We see main areas of the usage. Actually, any kind of health centers, sports clubs, fitness clubs, spas, medical spas, retirement homes, hotels, corporates as well, as a part of working environment to ensure the better condition of employees, and why not even home spas. So, HealBed was designed by Tallinn University Center of Excellence in Health Promotions and Rehabilitation. This device design was awarded by Industrial Design Society of America in 2016. And the device design is actually registered, so it is protected. But that's how it looks like, finally. So, shortly to explain you, the person lays on the bed. The equipment has integrated low-frequency speakers, as well as high-quality music speakers, and that's whole treatment, technically, basically. The specific design of HEALTH ensures the best body position on it, as human body is equally balanced by weight. The height of the legs and the head, it is optimal, and as well the body has a full contact on mattress, means that the efficiency of the vibration is close to maximum. The shape, lower part of the bed, it assures the easy access for beds for elderly people, for instance. And also, because of the width, it's possible to use simultaneously by two persons, for instance, mother and a child, if a child afraid for some reason to this treatment. Or it can be used, or it counts as well overweighted people. So the device and its dampers and as well the structure assures probably the lowest noise in field, and this feedback came from Lee Bartle from Toronto University. So, about us, shortly, we're a really young startup. We started 2 years ago. As you see on a photo, this is a core team. On the left there is our IT guy who has designed the software. The middle one is the lady, Monica, who is the best expert on the field, and who will help our customers as well. And me, and this photo is made on Startup Biotech event last year. Still, we cooperate deeply with the university and, of course, the competency center in Haapsalu. Shortly about the benefits for the customers and the investors. We offer wellness, actually a wellness solution which has no competition on field. So it's like a blue ocean in front of you. Who's the first one is the winner. Our technology allows to create cost efficiency as well for our customers, means that there can be multiple devices used at the same time and operated by one person or by a therapist. With HEALTH, it is possible to differ on the market and also attract the existing and new customer groups. So, and also we can support our customers with to settle in first of all, and secondly, with know-how, we can teach you how to use this equipment. So who we are looking for? Basically, we're looking for distributors, any kind of cooperation partners who would be interested to work in Indian market. But as well, the end users, the customers, health centers, spas, sports clubs, who have a chain of facilities, for instance.
So, Preet, can we conclude?
Yes, and finally,
yeah.
My name is Preet Diagram, and this is HEALTH. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you. So maybe we start with Sharda for this time. What is your comment, Sharda, on this?
Depression itself is such a negative word. And people trying to say that I'm depressed and therefore I use it is one step away from using it. And that's my question one, how are you overcoming that? The second question is, we come from the nation of yoga, where doing meditation and pranayama is used for overcoming something like this. So if you were to enter India, then what's your modus operandi? What would the messaging be?
Okay, I try to rephrase the question. First of all, how do we define the depression? Am I correct?
So depression is a negative word.
Yes.
Nobody kind of acknowledges I'm depressed.
Yes, okay.
Right, so how would you get them to acknowledge and then start
okay,
using?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, usually people who tend to visit the spas, they are there for a reason. And for instance, or health centers, they have some complaints about the body. As you know, depression, there are below it a lot of different symptoms, so the headaches, the anxiety, the insomnia, etc., etc. So those all could be signs or alarms that something should be taken, something should be done for a person. But this is something where the medical spas could promote. It's something where we can send out the message some way, as well the doctors, if they know that this therapy as itself is available. Second question was...
how would you sell it in India?
How we set...
How do you propose to
propose.
sell
Yeah,
in
okay.
India?
Probably, being honest, the most simple way is to attach it to existing wellness packages as a part of treatments available. But when it has some kind of critical mass of those, then I'm quite sure it can be sold already separately. But still, anyway, it's a simultaneous process. If there are equipment available, it can be used as a showroom in one hand. Second hand, promoting this therapy through these sessions, campaigns, among users, therapists. So there are a lot of ways to go, but first of all, I believe that easiest way is to start the business if there is an existing spot for use this equipment.
So I'll have to interrupt in interest of time.
Yeah.
But Prarthana, do you have any reaction?
Just one question, like what is the costing per bed, healing bed, if any?
The cost.
Cost of
Yeah,
it.
yesterday we had many questions about the price, but it should be available around 13 to 14,000 euros.
Okay.
So that includes already possible therapy knowledge studies from our side here in India or in Estonia.
So can you monitor the stress level, like if someone comes for the therapy, and if you want to monitor the stress level before and after they take the therapy from your center,
Yeah.
as an example. So how do you monitor the stress level? Yes.
Well, in Estonia, we are using the method before and after the session. There is a self-questionnaire, 11 questions where you can scale your self-feelings. It's about do you feel good, feeling comfortable, etc., etc. And the measurements will be taken exactly before this session and after all. And actually, those are the measures we've been using, and which indicates that actually client's body condition gets better. Yeah.
Yeah, Preet, many congratulations. I thought common cold was the most prevalent disease, but you said depression is probably, as my co-panelist, Ma'am Sharda said, it is a negative connotation to depression. So probably it's, I guess, the most undiagnosed or least diagnosed kind of a structure. But you have an excellent product. Spas, therapy centers, and others are proliferating in the country. I'm sure you have an excellent market here in India. And if you can probably prove the scientific usage of it as also the advantages of this, you have a fantastic potential market in India.
Well, I have understood, and of course, definitely invested about India, but people in India are very open-minded, and I think it's a very, very positive for any kind of treatment or admitting that, okay, if I have some complaints, what could I do? And if I have various options, and one of them is, for instance, this vibroacoustic therapy with a heel bed device, I think it's they're quite ready to try it. Yeah.
So I'll skip the audience question
Yes.
for now because we have taken long time. But I want to thank you, Preet. I hope you have a lot of success here in India. So next I want to invite Dr. Janus Pikani on behalf of Documental. So Dr. Janus comes from Estonia as well. And I'm just searching for your... it's not here.
It's not here, but it's here.
Yeah, it's here. So you can. Sorry for the.
It shouldn't take a long time.
Yeah. We can run it from here itself. Over to you. Please try keep it clean.
Good afternoon, and I'm honored to be here. I have a disclaimer that one reason why I'm here is actually Sachin, who bring me my attention to a startup in Estonia, but I didn't know. I wasn't aware about this, and only Sachin actually was introducing me to a doctor whom I know before. Unfortunately, the founder and the developer, Professor Edward Maron, is not able to be with us today because in these days he will become a father, and that's why he has to be with his family in Estonia. So I'm replacing this, although I'm not directly involved in the development of this product, and I'm only have been during last 10 months helping to coach his activities. So, Documental. Mental health problems, if we continue from the last presentation, and depression, actually affecting like 1/3 of the population globally in lifetimes. And this is really a growing global problem. And the one interesting and important feature in diagnosing and handling mental health problems and psychiatric disorders is that there is no objective testing measurements available for doctors. There is no blood tests, there is no imaging diagnostic tests, nearly. There is no physical measurements. What we have only is a doctor's interview and doctor's so-called brain to actually analyze their answers and reach the diagnosis. So, but this is an environment where there is like 450 different diagnosis nosological units. There are 20 therapeutic options. There's a lot of pharmaceutical original medications, and only 30, maximum 60 minutes per patient for a doctor. So it means that it's a very, very stressed environment for doctors, which causes a lot of actually problems and sequences as high level of misdiagnosis, which actually causing mistreatment, miscommunication, and these numbers from WHO are showing that there is a global impact. So Dr. Maron just came to the idea that something has to be done on this, and he, as a specialist, started already 3 years ago to plan some helping tool for doctors. And it's reached to the next year. Last year, about a year ago, this idea got noticed by a well-known EU startup, e-health startup program, which actually selected this as one of the 24 finalists. After that, the first prototype was actually developed, financed by this program, and it was evaluated by distinguished peers in the area, which actually gave good support to this product further development, which is actually here is quite complicated scheme, but it means that there is a platform meant for actually documenting at the doctor's office psychiatric condition patients, which can be used for integrated system in the electronic health system for hospitals, or cloud-based or web-based self-standing tool, which for specialist clinics, research sites, or general medicine, as well as for primary care and for private settings. The actual tool platform consists of several modules, and to be honest, the second version of this software, only one module has been finalized by now. The others are still under development. If we compare this product with available other sort of software tools, then there is two very important features. One is that this product is based on the internationally recognized treatment guidelines and standards. There is nothing has been invented for in this sense by the product developers. They have taken all already sort of approved standards and integrated these as a platform to build this tool. And the other important feature is that this also includes decision support elements. It's not artificial intelligence per se, but it's actually gives suggestions to the doctors as soon they finish to actually fulfill the assessment module, then automatically this platform will create suggestions of probability which type of diagnosis is more appropriate for this patient. So, as I said, this has been supported by several projects or grant applications. One was European EIT Health. The next one, which is now is supporting the development of the product, is Estonian health cluster, connected health cluster, which also is actually giving grants to this type of startup initiatives. It's also supported by London Imperial College with West London Mental Health, as Dr. Maron is also affiliated with these institutions, and for Tartu University, which is the only medical school in Estonia. Estonia is a small country, 1.3 million, but which is quite old. We say that we have a second oldest Swedish university, as the Tartu University was founded by Gustav Adolf in 1632. So, being on the battlefield in Leipzig, in Germany. So, the next development in this is foreseen, as yesterday was mentioned, Estonian Genome Project, where we have 50,000 genotyped and well-characterized persons involved, to include also genomic module to this tool, and which is most important, now the works have been done to integrate this platform to the electronic health record system of the Estonian biggest hospital, which is a 1,200-bed North Estonian Regional Medical Center, which has a separate psychiatric clinic, and the Documental's first large-scale rollout will be next year in this hospital. So, and there will be also then the final throughs, but we have seen now it has been well received, these modules by doctors already. So this is a team. Of course, most important person is not with us today. As I said, I'm just coaching and helping him, and our Chief Technology Officer is also affiliated to Tallinn University of Technology and has been instrumental in developing Estonian e-health platforms on the national level. So this is the team of advisors, which you see as representatives from Imperial College, from University of Columbia and Vienna University. Besides of actually doing this great work on the development project, there is already created a network of clinics and specialists globally, which are actually anxiously waiting for the product to be implemented. So we have already the network. Unfortunately, we don't have now anybody here from India, but we hope to list very soon somebody from India or some clinics. So this looks like Documental network next year, we hope, or at least in two years. So briefly, what is Documental? This is electronic records assessment, treatment, and risk management. So you can have actually also next stage a self-assessment and registration of
Janus, can you
patients.
speak into the mic?
Yes, it's finishing. And we will saving time of doctors, saving money, saving quality, and which is most important, we're saving lives with Documental. So thank you very much.
Honestly, I did not understand what the product actually does.
Product helps doctors to objectively record psychiatric patients' data.
So is it using existing data sets to map a
what is the problem?
patient?
What's the problem today is everything what the doctors are doing in office is pretty subjective. It's based on the doctor's interview with the patient, and today most doctors make notes, just free text notes. Although they might use some methodology, some questionnaires, but this is not very structured, and this recording is not very structured. Now this will do the very precise recording according to existing standard questionnaires by each unit. Each question would get registered. It's like questionnaire.
If it's a questionnaire, then why do you need an intervention of a doctor? Can the patient himself do it?
The questionnaire is a question where doctor has to evaluate the answer. This is not just a question, yes or no. This doctor will ask question and will just mark what is the condition. Is a patient at a full contact? What is his mood or her mood? So there is hundreds of questions what they do. And this is all this taken into account in actually analyzing and diagnosing the disease. Now, usually it's done in the doctor's head, but now computer makes it by algorithms immediately and gives probabilities. Doctor will still actually make a diagnosis. He will choose from the list which the computer will propose, or doctor will not agree with this. But basically, as this is based on the treatment algorithms, it should actually coincide with the doctor's knowledge.
And this would be sold to the doctors as a SaaS-based model? Or?
Yes, it will be meant two ways. One is a module for multidisciplinary hospital electronic record system. It's called the separate module for psychiatric patients. Or it will be self-standing web-based tool which, let's say, private doctors or private practitioners can actually subscribe and use to register their patients. It will be cloud-based.
You want to say? So thank you, Dr. Janus, for the presentation. And I must also admit that this product, we have been introducing Dr. Edward to other doctors here in India. And there's a lot of interest to do research collaboration here, because anybody who is working in mental health, they understand the gravity of the problem, and there's no solution which is kind of solving it. So I hope that it comes to the market sooner than we expect.
Yeah, we hope next year, maybe end of Q2 will be available already.
And I believe you're looking for research collaborations in this part of the world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will be heavily penalized because we are running awfully late. So I request my, companies to present that if they can be quick. And it also seems that some of the company are not here because they're doing important business meetings. So which kind of saves us time in doing that. But do we have Mr. Hakan here? So Swedes, they were kind of trying to be smart. So Malin told me that if we could play a video before we had the Swedish companies present. So Malin comes, can you raise your hand? So Malin comes from Swedish MedTech and she has given me this video which she wanted me to play. But as usual, videos are not playing here, so I don't know whether it will play or not. So, do you see anything? Probably not, so I'm sorry. So we could not play the video as well for Swedes, so there's no partiality. It didn't play for Finns, it didn't play for Estonians, and so it didn't play for Swedes. So Mr. Hakan, you are welcome to make your presentation. Yeah, do you have it?
Did you try the video on this one?
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's a PPT.
Just click it from here.
Yes, sir.
How do I?
How do you work?
And when I want to turn, I want to turn that.
You want to change? Yeah.
What's there?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Håkan Gideus, and I'm from Sweden. And first of all, anybody know Sweden? Anybody knows anything from Sweden? It was mentioned this morning. Do you have any furniture at home from Icare, maybe? Maybe, yeah. Volvo is another invention. As we have a few. Anyway, first of all, I want to also want to express my gratitude to the organizers in the Mr. Sachin and his team. Excellent team. They made so much for us, and it's a pleasure to be here. We'll be here until here in Bangalore until Saturday. Very short history. I will short. Short history. It was our founder, our associate professor and Dr. Bengt Widgren. He worked in the University Hospital of Gothenburg, where we come from, and he worked there for 25 years as sub-chief of the emergency center. And he found out that the system at that time, the triage system at that time that is used in emergency hospitals, it didn't work very well. So he and his head nurse, they wanted to do something. They started to invent, did the innovation, which I will tell you about very soon. So the thing was that they couldn't find the patients with a high risk and the patient with a high acuity. So actually, patient died in the ER. It happened in Sweden. It probably won't happen here in India, but actually it did in that time. So they made a hard work to do something about it. I'm going to tell you with some slides. So yeah, this is what we work with. And I had a question yesterday. Does it work, your system, does it work in the country nearby? Hopefully, yes, I'm very glad it worked before this happened. We implemented in Kathmandu University Hospital, and they were very proud. I'm very proud that they did it, and they were very happy to have it. So they even put up the results in their websites. Okay, are you all familiar with the emergency hospitals, the ERs and EDs? Yes or no? Never been there? Don't go there if you don't absolutely have to, because this is how it is. I asked a doctor and owner of some 10 hospitals, is this, yes, he said, check. So it's okay, go further. Is this the questions? Medical station, what's the next move? How to communicate between the levels and the units? Yes, he said. Okay. So what we have, the invention from our side is a triage system that can work in the whole care chain. So the requirement on that kind of system would be this: fast, simple, safety, enough sensitivity, low variation between the servers. And this is something that's very essential: low variation, low variability. And of course, it's scientifically validated. You can go into our website and you can read about it, even in English. A long experience. We have used it now for 12 years in Sweden, and widely used, well, in northern Europe and in Nepal. That's quite wide, I think. So it's a rapid emergent. The product is RETS, a rapid emergency triage and treatment system. So it's a medical systematic decision support system. It doesn't take the decisions away from the medical staff, but it supports them to do better, safety and faster work, which they like to do. And it's for nurses as well as doctors. And it's for secure and fast decisions. Don't mind the colors here. It starts with history. You measure the vital signs. You don't cheat with that. You always measure those vital signs. And hopefully you put it in the patient's record. And then you add, that's one algorithm. And then you add the other one, it's for the emergency symptoms and signs. And those two together with the knowledge, with the competence of the nurse and the doctor will be the third. It makes a very secure job for the patient's life. So, what's the effects? Why should you use it? We used it in Scandinavian countries. We use it in both ambulances and emergency care. So that's what it's in there. But first of all, it increases the patient's safety. And I asked the doctor yesterday, the owner of those hospitals, is there a checklist? He said, yeah, that will be good. And also, we can spare some money at the same time. And of course, but the main thing is always to save life, as my former speaker said. So this is the facts in use since 2005. Quite long. 30 million is nothing compared to India, but still it's some patients. Mrs. Sachin asked me, well, do you have any customers at home before you go elsewhere? Will you export? Yes, we have some customers at home. It's all official government hospitals, which almost all are in Sweden, they use it, and 60% of the Norwegian ones, which is quite wide, and also in the ambulance as well. Primary care is coming very fast because hospitals, they don't want all these. We had figures here before that 78% of all the expenditure goes to hospitals. Should we go to a primary care instead? People think that you are safe when you go to hospital. It's not true. You can sometimes it's better to go to primary care or somewhere else. So, of course, we have competition. A new one on the left side, you see them, and there is another one, Svevia, here in India, and it's mostly compared to TEVs and NEVs, just vital signs. No emergency symptoms and signs, which adds a lot to the
So can we
assessment.
conclude, Mr. Haken?
First, wire rats. Check, 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 check. Okay? Scalability, quite fast, 1 or 2 days of training for ambulance or medical personnel, and then let's take off. And we have a bunch of products, of course, and well, this is also for India, of course. We can have another flag there. So if anybody who wants to join this in India, please contact me. It will be a pleasure. Thank you very much.
So in India, you will be pitching it with the hospitals, or you'd want to pitch all this with investors who are basically going to link it with the cloud or otherwise?
If
you want to tie up with the hospitals or
clients in hospitals or ambulance organizations or primary care, primarily those three.
All three.
Works everywhere.
Quite like the product. It's very nice, and I'm pretty sure we should take a question from a couple of hospitals who can kind of assess this.
So I believe that Haken has already signed up a pilot last night with Cygnus. Yeah. So, but he was quite amazed that whether private hospitals would want to save lives or, otherwise.
Actually, we've been to Asia before. We went to China, and it took us 3 years to get a pilot in a hospital. And in India, it took me like 16 hours to get a pilot. Thank you very much, Sachin.
Thank you. And I also recommend talking to Haken because of his humor. He has a great sense of humor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haken.
Thank you.
So our official time for the session is over. And there is our next session waiting. Our jury is probably, hating me a lot, and so are innovators. But then there is so many excellent innovations coming from Sweden. How can I stop that, right? So if Pawan and Jan Erik are going to promise that they will keep it short, right? 5 minutes? Yeah. So I invite you, Pawan, to do the magic. So for everybody, Pawan is coming from Stockholm, and he's representing a company known as EMPE Diagnostics, which is about TB diagnostics, which is a very Indian problem, and that's why I always have a special mention of Pawan. So Pawan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sachin, and also for all the delegates here for extending your time. So we always have a question whether antibiotics are saving the lives or are they killing the lives, right? Because there are so much of happening about the antibiotic abuse. So for example, the major and best example is the tuberculosis, where the patient takes about 8 to 10 antibiotics for 3 years, and basically the tuberculosis can affect the patient at any part of the body. The patient before TB looks like this and after TB looks like this. So you can imagine the intensity of the disease. And the tuberculosis, the diagnosis as well as treatment time is so long, whereas 2 to 3 billion people are affected, and even after 3 months of complete antibiotic therapy, there are a lot of people are left with unresolvable disease. The problem is the inaccurate as well as empirical treatment in the first point, which is the after sputum microscopy, and this inaccurate as well as empirical treatment results to the development of the multi-drug resistance as well as extensive drug resistance. The problem is not that. All these people who are taking the extensively drug-resistant treatment becomes the potential carriers, and they freely roam around us, spreading the disease. And that is a major problem. And the solution is, if we can identify the proper resistant parameters in tuberculosis, then we can basically solve this problem. You might be asking, like, is there any diagnostic solutions there? So there are several diagnostic solutions based on the categories, national levels, as well as district levels, as well as primary levels. But actually, they are not available there. They are all available in one side left. That means that in the primary healthcare centers or in the sputum microscopy centers, there is a person who is sitting with a simple microscopy, counting the bacteria and also giving 50% false positives, right? And doctors believe this data, and they have to, because they don't have any other choice, and they have to go with this data and prescribe the empirical treatment, resulting in the problems. And we at EMPE Diagnostics, we think that we can solve the problem. Being at primary healthcare centers, we could already give the complete genotypic profiling. And I am Pawan, as Sachin introduced me. I am the founder and CEO of EMPE Diagnostics here. Together with the team, we have developed a simple solution which can be already usable or completely suitable for the primary healthcare centers, where we are combining stringent molecular method with the lateral flow technique. From the sample to the result takes about 60 minutes with this 95% of specificity and sensitivity. The whole idea of us using this method is to push the treatment as well as diagnostic time from months to minutes, right? So we want to provide the appropriate antibiotic treatment from the day one. That means that not even day one, from the first clinical meeting. So we have developed a product line, basically. All these products can give yes or no answer in 60 minutes. These products can identify 30 infections in 60 minutes. Starting from the sample to the results in 60 minutes, we can identify like bacteria, virus, protozoa, whatever that may be, you name it. We can include everything in one tube, basically. It's a single tube test which can give all the information. And also we are working on a completely automated instrument that requires no electricity, no refrigeration, no special instrument, no skilled personnel, and I would like to add no pipetting. Okay? So we are completely pointing towards the point of care diagnostics, especially in the primary healthcare centers. That's all. Thank you. So as of now, one test is placing about $10, I would say. That depends on the parameters or the targets that you want to choose. Yeah?
We don't require any skill sets, as you mentioned in your last. You don't require any skill sets, as you mentioned in the last slide, to work on this instrument. Sorry, you don't need training. Any training or any skill sets to actually operate this?
No.
No, none at all.
No, because we don't need any special instruments. We need a simple PCR. So one can program the PCR so that the person who is doing it, he has to add liquid A to B, B to C, and then put it in the machine.
Would you require to recalibrate that after a while?
Yes.
You will?
Yes. Yeah.
But it's a very good product actually. Probably
Thank you.
Work very well on that.
Yep.
The only thing is perhaps it's too expensive for the Indian market.
Exactly. So now I have given the cost according to the European manufacturing standards. So if we can, shift the manufacturing units to India, probably we would reduce the price at least by 40%.
Do you want to work on shifting it to the Indian base?
We are thinking, but we are looking for some generous donors, investors. Let's see.
So I met him last night and I said that I was very much interested if we can join the hands, if we can, help you to get the partner who are really looking forward to work with you and get benefit to the Indian market and the Indian patients.
I really appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So maybe So I really appreciate, Pawan, that you were really quick, and I hope Jan Erik is so. So Jan Erik represents ApiRays, which is an enzyme company. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you bear with me a few minutes more before we are wrapping up. Thank you very much to the organizer, ladies and gentlemen. ApiRays is a company dealing with detecting bacteria. And yesterday, I had the opportunity to discuss with Dr. Arti Marias from the NRL hospital, who really said she had a huge problem with the issue of giving penicillin to neonatal, early-born children. And we really faced the issue that we are dealing with. So we had the opportunity this morning to visit her and the microbiology lab, and we had some very interesting discussions. So we're very happy that we are here and we are able to present ourselves and get established. So really what this is about is detection of early stage bacterial infection, and also that relates to the well-known phenomena of what we call the AMR, or antimicrobial resistance, that we all are facing, and which is a huge problem. So the purpose of what we are suggesting is to avoid giving unnecessary penicillin treatment. In the case of Maria, she said that we often don't have the time to wait for the result, as the child's condition is getting worse and it's a matter of hours, whilst the time it takes to get the response may be 12 to 20 hours. So that doesn't allow them to wait for the result. The problem today is solved by different ways that are more or less good. So we are not entering a domain that is unaddressed, but the key of what we are suggesting is that we can reach very low level of bacteria and still detect them, as low as 100 bacteria per microliter. So in that sense, we are far below the existing solutions. The areas, besides working with microbiology labs, we also can address our solution in hygiene and clinical microbiology, as well as in food and beverage industry, where they are looking for the presence of bacteria. In pharmaceutical companies, often they are doing high throughput screening, where the same need is existing, where we also intend to bring our solution into this area. And really what it is about, it's a rapid discrimination, very sensitive, and point-of-care quantification of bacteria. The method is patented, rather the enzyme is patented, the method is well established. The thing that differs us from competition is the sensitivity that allows us to move into the microbiology and pharmaceutical industry. ATP test as such is a well-established method and used, as said, in several areas. I misquoted here the bacteria, the amount of bacteria is in the range of 200 bacteria per ml, which is far below the existing methods. The kit itself is very straightforward. It contains 16 different bottles. One of them is the enzyme itself. It's a 4-step procedure, and to read out the result you use a simple luminometer. It's a low-cost device, but you also can also go with more high-throughput adapted luminometers that are automated or semi-automated if you are pushing through a lot of samples. We are working with various partners. We have produced the enzyme with a Polish company called Blurt, and we are collaborating with a Swedish company, Biotema, in manufacturing the test kits, and originating from the Karolinska Institutet, where we have our office today. So conclusion is that we have a test well adapted for early detection infection. We will, in addition to that, also address the water, dairy, and food beverage industry. And what is more exciting is that we will, at the end of the road, also be able to enter into DNA sequencing, which is a new game for us, but the method allows us to address this area, which is huge as well. Thank you very much. And
in India, you're looking at tying up with the diagnostic chains principally, or also with the industry, as you mentioned, that you have the dairy and the other industry that is also relevant for you?
I'm sorry,
in India, you are basically going to be looking at a pitch with the diagnostic industry or with the industry like dairy and other food industry that is there?
We will address the biomedicine area as we see that the microbiology labs, the product fits well into their demand.
So primarily the diagnostic chains?
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, Jan Erik.
Thank you.
Wish you success.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So last one is Caroline. Sorry, I apologize. I forgot her name, because I couldn't find her in the audience. I thought she's doing business. So Caroline represents Renapharma. And Caroline, if you can be quick. Do we have your presentation in this? Okay. Mostly होगी USB में. Yeah, we have it.
This, I can just plug this one in.
No, we have it. Session इसी वाले में, ये वाले. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Danielsson. I represent a Swedish company called Renapharma. Has any of you, how many in this room knows that vitamin D production depends on the human skin exposed in sunlight? A few of you. And also perhaps you've heard that vitamin D deficiency, in spite of the sun, is very prevalent in India. And numbers in India is exceeding 70% of the population. The prevalence of vitamin D deficiency is exceeding 70% of the population. Renapharma is offering a business opportunity based on this, of a market proposal of vitamin D deficient product for vitamin D deficiency, for treatment of vitamin D deficiency, called Detrimin. It's an oral solution vitamin D product containing 20,000 units per milliliter. And it's a high concentration vitamin D solution. And Renapharma's interest in this is that we're searching marketing and sales providers in India, as well as manufacturing partners in this country. So it's a prescription product with the indications of vitamin D deficiency and insufficiency, as well as treatment of rickets and osteomalacia. And the dosing range is between 800 to almost 10,000 units per day. So as mentioned, we're looking for marketing and sales partners as well as manufacturing partners. So if this is something of your interest, I'll be available afterwards to discuss. Just quickly about Renapharma, we're a family-owned pharmaceutical company based in Sweden and funded by Bo Danielsson, professor in kidney disease. Thank you.
So you are primarily looking at marketing tie-ups in India for your vitamin D products. Sorry? You're looking at marketing tie-ups in India for your vitamin D products.
We're looking for marketing partners.
Marketing your products, and you're looking at basically a tie-up with a distribution channel in India.
Yeah, both manufacturing partners and
manufacturing also,
and marketing.
Fine.
So thank you, Caroline, and this concludes our session. I really thank you, sir, Sharda, and Prarthana for your time. And over to you, Nimisha.
Thank you all. I request Mr. Sachin Gaur to present a token of appreciation to all the speakers and the experts.
Can we have all the companies?
Mr. Yunus, please. Mr. Preet. Mr. Hakan.
Come here, come. We'll take a good photo. Mr. Hakan? He's not here.
Miss Carolyn.
Thank you. Take a good photo.
Mr. Jan Eric.
Come for a photo.
Okay.